sustain these indiscriminate use? How does that look like? Are we looking at training, sensitization, sanction to media houses, who produce that?
I understand that the NUC fosters research in Nigerian universities by setting quality standards, facilitating fund to boost research funding. Can you tell me a sharp difference? What is sharp difference between this and what the NUC is doing currently? That's one.
I actually shook my head automatically because it's a response, an automatic response to that statement. Haitian has clearly mentioned that the autonomy, we are not infringing on the autonomy of the university because though they have autonomy, but generally there are guidelines of operation in the institutions, all institutions. And this, in fact, the KP declaration came about as a result of clear abuse of the process in terms of awarding honorary degree. The vice chancellors themselves realized that there is a need to have a guideline. So the KP declaration came up with clear guidelines in terms of how do we recognize, how do we identify and award honorary degrees to deserving individuals. But unfortunately, because there is no legal backing for that KP declaration, institutions, most institutions, not all institutions, abuse that KP declaration because it's a gentleman agreement among the vice chancellors. And therefore, that is why we have this. NUC is regulating, but also within NUC, there is difficulty in terms of sanction or given a clear, guiding them in terms of the implementation. But with this now approval of this memo, now it's equipping NUC with a legal backing to ensure that they actually abide by that KP declaration. We are not changing anything within the KP declaration. It's the vice chancellors themselves that identify the guidelines for awarding this honorary degree. We just want to ensure that we give them the legal backing and the executive backing to ensure its implementation. So we are not, it has nothing to do with the autonomy of the institutions. Thank you.
Now, let me go to Chairman.
Our social gathering, you hear Dr. this, Dr. that, Dr. that. But I would like to tell you that even within the university setting, you see students that have just enrolled today for a PhD program, they will start calling themselves doctors. You cannot stop that. It's not possible to say that at every social event, nobody should be called with this title because it's not just in terms of the honorary degree, but even in the academic degree is a process. We love title. We love saying this. And a student that entered for a medical degree today as a level 1, 2 student, they call themselves doctors. We cannot stop them from doing that. But what we can do is in any official communication, in any official function, that is where we can be able to regulate. So we will not allow those titles to be used in official correspondence, in official functions, but in terms of social gatherings among friends, that we cannot be able to regulate. But as I mentioned earlier, only in official position, official function, that will be seriously regulated. Thank you. To add that, don't bring it down to terminologies. It's about earning. Yes, it's not about the prestige. You need to earn something for you to claim it. So without earning it and then you are claiming it, I think it's morally wrong.
It's fraudulent.
It's wrong. So if you say it's about prestige, it's not necessarily about prestige. It's about, like for me, I'm a professor. If you refer to me as a doctor, I will tell you no. I am a professor because I knew that I worked towards that position. I earned that position. So now for you to now bring me down to a doctor, I felt that you have not given me the merit that I deserve. At the same time, if another person is claiming a position that he has not earned, then it is morally wrong. If you have earned it, it's very good. We call you, we recognize your effort. But then just to call yourself and everybody is just picking these titles anyhow, I don't think it's correct, and I think it's something that should be regulated. He mentioned that.
We're not going back.
Okay, sorry, thank you. And TBC.
Thank you, Dr.
critical national significance that we need the press to know the content so that you can help us articulate and talk and disseminate the information to Nigerians. The first one I would like to talk about today is the approval for the establishment of uniform policy for the award and use of honorary degrees by Nigerian universities. The second memo we'll be talking about is the approval for the establishment of National Research and Innovation Development Fund, which is the first of its kind in our country that would really unleash our research and innovation potential. So let me start with the first one, which is use of honorary degrees by Nigerian universities. The purpose of that memorandum was to seek council approval for the establishment of a uniform policy for the award and use of honorary degrees in Nigerian universities to safeguard academic integrity, restore public confidence, and eliminate the current trend of indiscriminate and unmerited conferment. Now, we know conferment of honorary degree has traditionally served as a means of recognizing distinguished contributions to the society. Also, these honorary degrees are awarded to people who have achieved distinction through outstanding intellectual and creative achievements, as well as people that have contributed in an outstanding manner to education, business, and public service. Now, of course, when universities award honorary degrees, there are benefits to such awarding institution. And I'll list some of the benefits, which include it helps university widen their reputation and visibility. It also helps them to expand their funding opportunities because it attracts donations, endowment, and corporate sponsorship. Another major benefit is, to universities awarding honorary degrees is that it helps strengthen strategic relationship, as well as also help with student inspiration, because students can now see these awardees as their role model. It also helps to internationalize our universities because it attracts global partnership and recognition, as well as helping with academic enrichment. Now, these benefits would only materialize if honorary award process is credible, transparent, and merit-based. If it becomes politicized or commercialized, the risk of reputational damage, public criticism outweighs those benefits. And I'm going to talk about the recent trend. The recent trend we've seen with the award of honorary degrees have revealed a growing abuse and politicization of this academic privilege, leading to concerns over awards being used for political patronage or financial gain, as well as conferral of award on serving public officials. As part of the ethics of award of public honorary degrees, this should not be awarded to any serving public officials, but we've seen that misuse in the last several years. Also, as people were awarded these honorary degrees, they started misusing the acronym doctor, putting doctor in front of their name by honorary recipient and awarding of degrees by institution. And also, we've seen that universities that were just opened about 5 years ago that do not have PhD programs are awarding honorary degrees. It's a misnomer. That should not happen. It should only, honorary degrees should only be awarded by universities that have universities that have PhD awarding curriculum, and they're already awarding a PhD. And this has been an issue for a while now. And this led in 2012 for the Association of Vice Chancellors of Nigerian Universities. They met in Kefi and had a Kefi declaration that should guide the processes for award of honorary degrees. But unfortunately, this has not been adhered to. And we realize the fact that the Association of Vice Chancellor of Nigerian Universities, there's just an association. It doesn't have any legal backing to enforce anything. So Also, NUC in the last few months, they've also tried to sanitize the process. But then, when you don't have legal backing or executive backing, it still remains a misnomer. It remains a problem. Now, that was why we brought this to FEC, that FEC should now give the legal backing and executive backing on how award of honorary degrees will now be monitored and implemented going forward. We've identified 4 types of degrees, honorary degrees that will now be awarded by tertiary universities. Number 1 is the Doctors of Law, LLD. Number 2, Doctors of Letter, D.Lit. Number 3, Doctors of Science, DSc. And number 4, Doctor of Humanities, D.Hums. And with those awards, now, we also have put in process in place on how to now sanitize use of doctor, DR, by people. The all honorary degrees must clearly carry the label honoris causa or honorary in the award certificate and all its references, because we need to protect the legitimacy of academic degrees that are duly earned with hard work. So people should not use doctor. Recipients should not put DR in front of their name, and that will now be strongly discouraged because it is unconventional. Recipients are also expected to acknowledge the degree as award or recognition and not a formal academic qualification. Recipients of honorary degrees shall not prefix doctor to their names in official, academic, or professional usage. Instead, they may use the format. Example, I'll give you an example. Chief Louis Clark, D.Lit, Doctor of Literature, honoris causa, or Mrs. Miriam Adamu, LLD, Hons. That's how. That really now sends the message that the degree that you have is an honorary degree. We also will work on preventing misrepresentation of honorary degrees as earned academic credentials, and this shall be considered academic fraud and subject to legal and reputational consequences. We also need to, as part of fair consideration, this also, honorary degrees do not replace certifications, licenses or professional designation. Now, what are the next steps after this FEC memo, after the Federal Executive Council led by the Chairman, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, approved the memo? The next steps are the Federal Ministry of Education, through the National University Commission, shall issue a circular to all Vice Chancellors, registrars, and governing council. We will now monitor universities' convocation program to ensure that all honorary degrees are being awarded are in compliance with KEFI declaration on honorary degrees. We will also collaborate with media to discourage the improper attribution of academic titles to people who were awarded honorary degrees. And the last thing we will be doing as well, going forward, is we will publicly, annually publish the list of legitimate honorary degrees recipients annually. That are the steps that will be taken at the Federal Ministry of Education in collaboration with the National University Commission that has the statutory power to implement this. This is extremely important because we cannot allow the bastardization of honorary degrees, and that's why FEC moved quickly to sanitize this. That's the first memo that I would like to talk to you about this morning, and I'll take questions after that. The second important memo that was also approved at the last Federal Executive Council, which was held on the 20th of April 2026. Council, the Federal Executive Council chaired by the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, was a memo for the approval of establishment of National Research and Innovation Development Fund. This is a game changer in our country. Game changer. This is a big deal and this is made possible because today we have a president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that believes in education as a bedrock of our development. And if we are to marshal President Bola Ahmed Tinubu plan of Nigeria being a $1 trillion economy in the next 3 years, we need to unleash the capabilities of our researchers and innovators. That's how we can cascade the development of our country. Now, today, Nigeria faces the classic cases of research and innovation fragmentation. The significant fragmentation on one hand between research and innovation and integration. Just a few decades ago, countries like South Korea and Singapore, they faced similar issues. And what did they do? They did three things. They streamlined their innovation, they did three things. They created a centralized innovation hub, and they aligned research priorities with national development goals, as well as incentivizing collaboration between academia, government, and industry, the so-called triple Ls. Now, Nigeria, we're now on the path of doing this. We will benefit from a similar restructuring, moving from fragmented landscape to a coordinated innovation ecosystem that maximizes impact in the face of limited financial resources. Now, what does the Nigeria Research and Innovation Development Fund will foster collaboration among research agencies, academia, and industry, and promote strategic allocation of resources in line with national priorities. It will also stimulate innovation and excellence through competition and enhance flexibilities in responding to emerging challenges, and ensure transparency and accountability in funding decisions. I'll tell you the benefits. What are the benefits of creating a National Research and Innovation Development Fund? Number one, to encourage collaboration and coordination among the 54 research agencies, academia, institutions, and industry. Number two, resources will be allocated strategically based on the merit and potential impact of proposed research projects that are in alignment with national development objectives. Number three, research agencies and academic institutions will be motivated to propose ambitious and groundbreaking projects through allocation of funds to stimulate innovation and excellence across the research ecosystem. Number four, the National Research and Innovation Development Fund is a consolidated fund that will offer greater flexibility and adaptability compared to the traditional budgetary allocation, which allows for timely adjustment in funding priorities. Now, what I told you, the benefits of the Nigeria National Research and Innovation Development Fund. Let me now tell you some of the functions of what the Nigerian Research and Innovation Development Fund would be. Function would be, it will setting the national direction for research, innovation, and development, administering competitive research grants. Number three, spearheading the drive for commercialization of research outcomes. Number four, nurturing a research talent pipeline. Number five, ensuring the availability of cutting-edge research infrastructures by significantly funding our research labs. Number six, establishing international research partnership and representing Nigeria at international research and development management fora. Number seven, gathering data and statistics on science, technology, innovation indicators to inform evidence-based policy decisions making. And number nine, monitoring trends and development in the research ecosystem to identify and plan for new challenges and opportunities. Now, what would this research development, National Research and Innovation Development Fund looks like? It will be an agency that will be set up to mirror NERFund. We've seen that NERFund is very nimble versatile, and NEFund, the Nigeria Education Loan Fund, has delivered significantly on its core mission. So the way the National Research and Innovation Development Fund will be set up would mirror NEFund as well. We will do it in such a way that we don't create another bludgeoning bureaucracy. We want a nimble fund that will deliver. And one of the things the fund will do, in terms of the governance structure of the fund and the structure, the Nigerian Research and Innovation Development Fund will be administered as an agency under the supervision of the Federal Ministry of Innovation, Science and Technology. We've been very careful, and I'll give a lot of credit today to the Special Advisor to the President on Policy Coordination, Ajia Adiza Bala Usman. She and I, we've both worked on this National Research and Innovation Development Fund for almost 2 years. We've been back and forth talking to Mr. President to create a framework on how this should be done. And as part of our conversation, we're looking at sustainability. I started working with Adiza while I was Minister of State for Health on this. Then with a privilege given by Mr. President to me, I was moved on. I was moved to be the Minister of Education. So we continued our work. But then we wanted this fund to be sustainable. It's looking into the future. It wasn't about Adiza. It wasn't about me. That was why, while I was in health, I didn't say the fund should be under the Ministry of Health. Then I went to education. I didn't say the fund should be under the supervision of the Ministry of Education. The ministry that is positioned to supervise this fund is the Ministry of Science, Innovation and Technology. And this fund will be domiciled under that ministry. And then the fund will have a chief executive, will be led by a chief executive officer, and 3 executive directors and a general counsel. The structure of that, there'll be 3 executive directors and a general counsel. The fund shall also appoint technical committees and expert panels in various research sectors to implement different aspects of its function. The members of the technical committees will be experts in various areas of science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Any agency or institute receiving funding must submit comprehensive annual report to the National Research and Innovation Fund, which shall then make recommendation as appropriate to the National Research Council. This fund, the governance of this fund would will be done by the 17-member National Council of this fund will be supervised by 17-member National Council on Research and Innovation. The council will be chaired by the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, while the Vice Chairman will be the Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology. The National Research and Innovation Development Fund will serve as Executive Secretariat to the Council, and the Chief Executive Officer of the National Research and Innovation Development Fund shall function as the Secretary of the Council. It will require that the Council membership will comprise of the following people: ministers with mandate for research in the Ministry of Health, Agriculture and Food Security, in the Ministry of Livestock, as well as Ministry of Environment and Ministry of Education. They will constitute the statutory members of the Council. Other members of the National Research and Innovation Development Fund Council shall include the Chairman of Committee of Vice Chancellors of Nigerian Universities, the Chairman of the Nigeria National Merit Award, the Chairman of Committee of Director of Research Institutes of Nigeria, and the Council will also have 2 representatives chosen from any of the various professional academics, which will include Nigeria Academy of Science, Nigeria Academy of Engineering, Nigeria Academy of Medicine, Nigeria Academy of Letters, social science and academic and any academy in Nigeria that is duly recognized. The private sector will have the industrial and finance cluster of the economy. The private sector that covers the industrial and financial cluster of the economy shall be represented by the president of the Private Equity and Venture Capital Association, PEVCA. Chairman, the private sector shall also be represented. Other members that will be drawn from the private sector will include the chairman of Association of Nigeria Development Finance Institution and 3 nominees selected from Nigeria Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines, and Agriculture, NASIMA, as well as Manufacturing Association of Nigeria and the Nigeria Economic Summit Group, as well as Enterprise Nigeria, NCR, and Lagos Business School Alumni Association. Now, the council, what are the next steps? The council, the Federal Executive Council has now directed the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation to draft an executive bill that will be sent to the National Assembly. The executive bill establishing the National Research and Innovation Development Fund as an agency under the Ministry of Science, Innovation and Technology, and for the appropriation of the fund that will fund this agency. The President has been so careful that this agency will not be funded just by regular appropriation that might not be catchback. The President has directed that we look for a top-line funding, which will be allocated, which will be found, that we hope, from our estimate, would deliver about $500 million annually to the the National Research and Innovation Development Fund to fund all our research activities. Before I end this presentation, I would like to address 2 things. Today, research and innovation, it's what drives the development of any country. Nigeria is over 65 years old. This is not when we should be talking about this. Countries that have done so well in cascading their development have had a dedicated fund like this for decades. But today, they say it's better late than never. But we have to give profuse thanks to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who in his magnanimity understands this and is championed this. And the second part of what I wanted to talk about is that this meets a final obligation to our academic staff of all our tertiary institutions, ASU in the university, ASUP in the polytechnics, and COESU in the colleges of education, as well as non-academic staff. We're now going to unleash a significant amount of research funding to support research, outcome-based research, not just research for research's sake. That would align with what we need as a country. And I tell, when we're negotiating with ASU, they say, oh, we have to form a National Research Council. I said, I had it, before I got to education, I didn't see what were in your terms of agreement. But I can tell you, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was already ahead of you, had given the indication for us to set up a National Research and Innovation Development Fund. So today, I'll end and close by thanking President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for his futuristic governance of our country. Thank you.